Good evening. You're welcome to today's class. So, based on our agenda, we starting with data analysis. This week will be the part one of it, of spatial analysis. So, in this analysis, we'll be looking at a library called Pandas for the analysis, because it's one of the prominent library, more than a library, because it has a lot of library in it that we can use to analyze our data. So Pandas is a modern and powerful feature-rich library designed for doing data analysis in Python. So it has an easy to use data structures, just like using an Excel sheet for calculation. So it has almost the same format like an Excel sheet. So he categorizes his data based on row and column. So these are the things we are going to be looking at. And he has some functionality. He has some combined functionality from NumPy, Matplot library, SciPy, which is used for neural tensors analysis. So he combined all these libraries together. So it make it faster. Now, it supports reading and writing from multiple formats: CSV, JSON, HTML, can read from HTML, Microsoft Excel. If you have a Microsoft Excel sheet, it can read from it. HDF 5, Stata, SAS, that's under big data analysis. Then Python Pickle format. Can also read directly from structural query language like PostgreSQL, MySQL, Oracle, MariaDB, MongoDB, etc. So you can check the documentation for more information on it. So today, we want to exploit some data. We want to exploit data using Pandas. That is, if we import data, can we exploit what that data, how the data look like? Then we want to process those data. So we have a lot to do. Let's start. So exploring data using Pandas. Let's first look at the data structure. How does the data structure look like? So in Pandas, the data structure, as I said earlier, look like an Excel sheet like this. So if in Jupyter format we see it like this, in standard format we see like this. So it's just a series of row and column. So we have two structures in Pandas. We have what we call the data frame and series. So we look at the two difference between the data frame and series. Now, data frame is the two-dimensional data structure, and it's used to store, manipulate table-like data. That is data with rows and columns in Python. So you can think of Pandas data frame as programmable spreadsheet, just if you have been working with Excel before. So that is what data frame in Pandas. So at the other data structure type we have is the Panda series. That one is one-dimensional data structure. So can we see the difference now? It's used for storing, manipulating a series of values. So it's more, it look almost the same like a list, If you don't forget our previous lecture where we talk about list and dictionary. So Panda series look more or less like a list, but more clever than a list. So one row or one column in Pandas data frame is actually a Pandas series. So we look at it clearly here from this note. You can see now this is a typical annotated diagram for a data structure in Pandas. You can see at the top we have the column label. So every column has its own label. You can see it. Then every element in that frame, in that data structure, is a data, as you can see. Then he has an index, just like in Excel. He has an index, and the index also starts from 0, as you can see. Then every column in the data frame is a series. That's why we call it Pandas series. So please let's note it. These are the things we have to get familiar with when we are doing analysis. So that is that. Let me move forward. Now, for this tutorial or for this course, we'll be using a statistical weather data from NOAA that shows the minimum, maximum, and the average temperature per day. So the data will be sent to us for if we want to practice. Is in the note already. This is the data. Let me show us. You see, so in this data we have the year, that's the date, we have the temperature, we have the maximum temperature and the minimum temperature. So this should be the average temperature. So now before this data we have the metadata. So let's note that the data is coming from NOAA. So an extracted temperature from raw data file converted to comma separated format. So let's look at it very well. This is the data we are going to be using. So let me close it. Will show us how to import it into our. Now, in order to start using Pandas, you have to import it, just like every other packages as we discussed last week. You see, I am importing Pandas here now. I say import. Let me change something here so that we can see. Okay. Let me zoom a bit. Now, as you can see, we have import Pandas as PD, so that if anytime I want to use Pandas now, I will just use PD. So don't let us forget. So I can run this to see. I want to check if I'm connected to the kernel. I think I'm connected. Once I've opened it for long. So okay, now I have run it. I have imported the Pandas as PD. Now next, we will read the input data file and store the content of the file into a variable called data. So that is what I do here, reading the file using the file has to be in the same directory that you are using. So this is the file, Kuma Polar June 2016 metadata. So to read it, you will use a function called read CSV, read_CSV. So, and that function take in the file name that we want to read. So once you click on it, you run it, it read. So now another thing you can do, because it has some other parameter you can set, like if assuming your file is not separated by comma, but by default comma separated value is separated by comma, but if it is not separated by comma, maybe it has other symbol that is used, you can specify it here, that with this parameter. So let's note it is in our note. I will send it. So that's on that. Then we can view the data we just read. Let me run this. New. Okay, it's like I'm not connected. That's what I want to confirm before. So I'm coming. Let me relaunch my server. Okay, I'm coming. Sorry. Source nursing notebook lecture file exploring data. Okay, so I'm relaunching the notebook with Jupyter Notebook. So we can register with Jupyter Notebook.gist.org and create our account with it. We just try to connect our GitHub repository with it. We'll still talk about that later. So now let me import this. So I can then reading my data. Read the data. Then let me print the data out. Yes. So you see, this is the data. I print, we have been using this function before. This is the variable called data. So you see, this is the data I just read in now. As you can see, we can see that we have all these metadata also coming in. So you read everything. So we have to look at it and filter this thing out, because we don't need all this data. If you look at this column now, it's almost up to column. This is first one, two, up to column 8. Yeah, I don't need this place. So I have to remove it. I have to remove it. So another way of reading it, in order to avoid that, to avoid all this column, is I will read it and say it should skip 8 rows. So I will give it another parameter. Say skip row by 8, skip 8 column, 8 rows. That's the parameter. So I will read that data. So I've reread it. Now I want to reprint it out. Run. So it's working. Now you see, I now start where my read data started. This is the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So I have 30 rows in this data now, with how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 columns. So I can print, if I just want to print a summary of the head, maybe the first 5 rows, I can use data.head. Don't forget now, we have assigned the reading of this file into a variable called data. So this data is a data, if we check the type, is called data frame. So one of the attributes of this data frame, one of the method it has is head. So if you print the head of this data frame, it will just print the first 5 row. You can also do the same thing for the tail, that is the last 5 the last 5 value, as you can see. So these are the things we have to take into consideration if you want to just preview your data. Then for you to confirm that it's a data frame, so you can check the type here. And checking the type, you say pandas.co frame data frame. So that's why we can call some function on it. So this data variable now is a data frame. The data type of it is data frame, just as we have string and list, tuple. So this is one of the this is the data type for this data now. Now I want to read in another data. It will still skip 8 rows, and I want to only use the year, month, and day column and the temperature column. That's what I want to read from that data. I will read it and put it inside temperature data. So just to show us different way of reading data from using pandas. So if I print the head now, you will see that every other data has been omitted. Just only extract the year and the temperature. So this is one way of reading. If it is only temperature I want to showcase, I can just cancel this out and rerun this and print head of it. You see now, it's only temperature is printed for me. You see, it's very versatile library, and you can use it in your application. So one thing we can also do is we can check the length, just as we check length for list, and it will tell us the number of rows that is inside that data. You see, so we can check the shape of the data, just like a matrix. What is the row and the column? So we can check that also. What's the shape of this data? Is 30 by 4. So here we see that our data set has 30 rows and 4 columns. So just as I've mentioned earlier. So now we can also print the column value. So that means the header L value. You can print it. Let me run this. You see, it will give you the year, temperature, maximum, and minimum. So if it is for data, let me, the one I did the other time, that data underscore temperature, let me print the value for that also to see how it works. Temperature underscore data. So run. You see, you only print temperature. So let's note this very well. Now we can ask, how does the index structure? So we can get information about the index of that data. So by just saying data.index. So, and it will give us range index starts from 0, it stop at 30, and the step is 1. That means the step means it's incremented by 1 from 0 to 30. So information about the index. So these are the metadata we can get from the data we just read in. Now we can check the data types for the data we read in, and it tells us that, okay, this year data, the date is an integer, the temperature is a float, maximum temperature is a float, minimum temperature is a float. So the whole of it is just an object. So let's take note. So you can check the data type when you are doing analysis. Before you even run analysis, you can do all these checks. So you can check the length of the column, which is 4, as you can see in the output. Length of the column is 4. So you can selecting column. You know, we've read the data in and it's stored under data variable. So we can now select the year and the temperature and put it under selection variable. So let's do that. Let me run it. See? So if I say print selection now, print selection. So to see the difference, let me just read in only temperature. Let me only select temperature. You see, don't forget we use a curly brace. Just call that we have data there, curly brace, another curly brace to check for our to add to specify our column, the column we want to read. So let me run this. It will only give me temperature. It will only give me temperature. You see, I only have temperature read. So I can say this selection.h just to minimize what it prints out from. So I just print only 5 rows out of it. So if I like, I can include maximum and run it again. If I include maximum, let me print the head so that we can see it. You see, we now have temperature and the maximum. If I like, I can select the minimum also to be there. Minimum, just call it minimum. Then I run the head so I can just see the summary. You see now, we have temperature, maximum, and minimum. So that is how to make selection from that data. So if you still check the type of this selection, it's still data frame. Now, you can check the shape of the selection. For this one now, the shape will be 30 by 3 because we have only 3 columns. So let me check. Let me check with this. Let me run it. And you see, I have 30 by 3. Now, from the data, another way, I can just select a column, select temperature column, and it will select straight away without attaching it to any variable, and it will run. This is my temperature column now. So if it is maximum column also, maximum, just put it there and run. So it's an easy to use library. As you can see, this is the maximum. So it is minimum, you can do the same thing. Run it, select the minimum. So that's it. Now, if you check the data type of the temperature column, you will see that it is series, just as what I have explained before, because it's just only one dimension. So let me check this around. You see, it is series. So that is it. If you want to confirm more, let me check for maximum also. You see that each column is a series. So let me check for maximum also around. See now, it's still giving me series. Now, just know that we can get a descriptive statistics from our data, but that one can get easily. You can get the mean of the temperature, can get temperature mean. So let me run this temperature mean. What of if I want to get the mean of the maximum? Can get that. Note that this one is 59.7. So the mean of the maximum, that's 68.04, as you can see on the screen. Now, that's how to get some descriptive statistics from it. So these are the functions you can call. If you want to get the median, if you want to get the mean, if you want to get the maximum. So let me call on the mean of that the maximum. Let me just clean up this and check the mean. Let me check the mean. Let me run it. So the mean is 69.1. So you can do descriptive statistics on the fly for you. So you can describe the whole data and it will give you the description. It will give you the description. So you can get the mean for the whole column also, just as they do here. You see, it will give you the mean for the year, for the temperature, maximum, minimum, and so on. So you can get the description of the whole data also. You see, this is the description for the whole data. Now, so the number of counts, you have 30, 24. You know, in most of the maximum and minimum, some of them don't have any data. If you look at that data very well, let me open this. See, some are nil. That means not a number. There's no number there. So let this open slowly. Loading it from the server. So when it open. So now, if you look at the mean, you see that some places have no data. Like this place now. Like this place also. So that's why when they do a summary description, like the number of counts, like maximum, so the one that doesn't have any content, it doesn't count it. So also for the mean, for the standard deviation, you see now, give us the standard deviation, then the minimum, the 25% coefficient. So that's just it. You do the statistical analysis of your data. Now, you can try this if we want to get the description for only temperature maximum and minimum. You can tell it, okay, I only want description for temperature maximum and minimum for year, because on the notes it's already there like this. So let me cancel minimum, let me just put maximum. I only want description for temperature and maximum. So let me run this. So it has given me the description for temperature and maximum. So it's a very basic plot. You can do some basic plots with it. You can plot your data straight away and see the view. How the data look? So like this, just call the one you want to plot and plot it against each other. And it will do that wonderful job for you. So just I've done. Let me. You see, now it has given me the plot. So I just the maximum and the minimum together. Let me cancel the temperature, the average. So let me run this again. You see, it has plotted it for me. So it is just only one I want to plot also. I can do the same thing for it. So I'll just run it. You see, very simple. It will plot and you can see the description. See, he has plot only one from. This is the minimum. See how the minimum is just flowing. So that's how to get the thing done. Let me see the maximum, how the trend also is flowing. Plot that. See, the maximum was just breaking now. It comes down, go up again, just like that. So now, what of, let's say we don't have the file. We have imported from the CSV file. What of if we want to build our data frame from the list data structure, just as we have learned before? We can do that. We can have a number series. like this, a variable called number series. We just
Hello, Paula. In case we are log out, we will relog in. Thank you.
okay, no problem, no problem. So in the number series, I just call PD. Don't forget we have imported the PD dot series. So I call the series function on it, and I give it a parameter which is a list here. So let me increase the list just to modify this because we will have this note. Let me call this 6.5 comma 7.8. So if I run this and print it out, you will see it will run. Now you see I have, so I have already created a number series. So this, if you look at the type of this data now, let me insert, let me add a panel here. If I say type of this, type of number series, that's the type of number series, and I put it here, I run it, it will give me the type to be series. You see now, I have defined a series. So, and I can assign index to it. I can give it a custom index, just like in Excel, where we have on the top like this, you have alphabet sequence. So I can give this also a custom index. So let me copy my data from here so that it will be different from the one in the note so that you can see it. So this is the data. Then how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me give it a custom series here. On A, B, C, D, then E, F. So I can run this before the log us out. So you see, he has, okay. So you can customize the index just as we have done. Now I want to create some data here. We can have a, don't forget, we can have a list separately, station name, and we have this different station name, which is a list. Then I can have a list for the latitude of that station name, and I can have a list for the longitude of that station name. So all what I have defined here, these three variables are lists. So I can put this list and convert it to a data frame, and that's what I will do here now. So I will run this cell just to register that column. Then I can now convert it to a data frame. And how will I convert it to a data frame? I will just have a variable called new data equals to pd.data frame. Don't forget, when we are creating series the other time, I called dot series, but here I will just call dot data frame function. Then inside in the bracket, it take this parameter. In this function, it takes the only parameter it takes is the data parameter. I think we have talked about this extensively in our previous courses. So, and the data for this is now station name. Under station name, we put the station name variable here. So under latitude, we put latitude. Under longitude, we put longitude. So all these ones that are in quotes are the colon heading for the data. So just to change this, let me use capital letters so that we can see the difference. Latitude and longitude. So let me define it clearly. Completely latitude, then longitude. huge. My spelling. So, and this is the station name. So if I run this now, let's see what it will give me. You see now, we have the station name, the latitude of that station, and the longitude of that station. So we have already defined a data frame. If we check this type now, it's now called a data frame. So it's now a pandas data frame, which we can do every analysis. All the analysis I have done, we can describe it, we can do all the other things with this. So let me so I think that is clear. So often we might start working with an empty data frame instead of existing list. So we can create an empty data frame. And how do we do that? The only difference will be that we will not give it a parameter, data parameter. So this df is just a empty data frame. So we should know how to do all this manipulation. Just print it. We ask for the and print the data out. We discover that the column is empty and the index is also empty, as you can see. So that ends the first lecture on exploring our pandas data, exploring data using pandas. So let me open the second one, which is let's now do analysis, processing data the pandas. So this is the notebook for it. Yes. Let me do something so I can confuse us here. Enter. So processing data with Panda. Now, during the first part of this lesson, you learn the basic of Pandas data structure, which is series and data frame, and got familiar with basic methods, loading, and exploring the data. Here, we will continue with basic data manipulation and analysis methods, such as calculation and selection. So now, we are now working in a new notebook, as we all see, and we need to import pandas again. So, and you import pandas with this line of code. Now, my pandas has been installed. Now, let's work with the same data that we worked with the other time. So, I attach the name of the data of the file with fp. Let me give this file name. Let me change this. Put it file name. Small letter file name. So I attach the name. I just give it this variable. Then I want to read that file name. Let me put it here, and I want to skip 8 rows because I don't want it to read the metadata that comes with that file. So let me run this. So all is well. Let me check if all is well with this summary code. So I think all is well now. You can see other options just as I've explained before. Let's do some basic calculation. Let's find the difference. So what will I do? I want to create, it's just like working with Excel. I want to create another column, and I will call it difference column. That's the difference between maximum and minimum. So how will I do that? I will do that by just using this line of code to create another column called difference. So because of this note, since it's in the note, I want to change this to another thing, difference, so that we can see how it works. Difference. So I name it another name so that we can see it. So if I run this cell, you will see that there is a change. Can you see now? So you see, that's how to create another column. If you like, you can still create another column as much as possible. That's one beauty with this pandas data frame, and it's very, very good. So now let's do some calculation. If you check the data type here now, you know we have initialized everything to 0.0, and that's why everything you see here is 0.0. So note that very well. So now, what we want to do, we want our difference column to just be data from the maximum column minus data from the minimum column, just like working in Excel. So let's do that and see the summary. Run. Oh, sorry. Let me, since I've changed this, change this to difference. I want it to have that again. Let me run this. Yeah. Let me change this to difference. So run this again. So I have this. Since I have defined this difference, it's still showing it. Maybe later we'll look at how to delete a column. So, but let's take it like this as it is for now. Or I can just rerun it from the beginning. Let me read in my file again from here. Run, pandas, reading the column back, run it. Then let me see the summary, the data. This is the summary. Let me create another column. And another column has been created. Then let me check the type of that column. Still floats. Now let me create the difference. Correct now. You see, I have the correct result. So now the calculation was stored in different column as planned. So can you see that's just a basic calculation that we can do? If we like, we can have a sum of maximum and minimum. So I can create that. Let me create that. Yeah, I can say data frame. The data I am using is the variable, the data, then curly brace, then I will have sum. And what will be the sum? Sum will be data, curly brace will be this. I want to add temperature plus data brace maximum, then plus data brace minimum. So let me run that and print the summary with data.add. Let me run this. You see now? So simple, just like an Excel sheet. So and that's that. Now we can, for example, convert by temperature column into Celsius using the formula that we have seen already many times. So let's do that and store it in a new column, temperature Celsius. So we do that with this. So that we just take the column temperature, this column temperature here, and that column temperature will serve as our input into the data. So if we minus every row of it, minus 32, and divide it by 9 divided by 58, 9 divided by 5. So let's do that and see the result. You see, this is the result. Good. So those are the basic analysis we can do with uh, with pandas. If you like, you can write that function separately, just as we do last week, and import the function and just run it on each column. Good, we have a better result. So that's one beauty with pandas. It's very good. So let's do selection, selecting rows, selecting columns. Let's see how we can do that. We also want to select only specific row from the data frame for analysis and for further analysis. There are multiple ways of selecting subsets of a pandas data frame. In this selection, we will go through most useful trick for selecting a particular rows or column individually. So one of the ways, let's select the first row of data frame using row index value. So we want to select the first row in which form? I want to select from index 0 to index 5. But me, I want to change it to, for the purpose of this class, to index 10 so that we can see the difference. So, and I will run it. So I want to see I've selected the first 10 rows. Good. That's the first 10 rows, as you can see there. Now, we have been able to select this. Now, another thing is, I may want to select only a particular column. So let me do that. I want to select the first 10 rows from, I don't want temperatures column, I want maximum or sum. I want sum column. Now I've created sum, if you can remember. So I want sum column. I want to select it. We run it. You see now we have the answer. So we have selected the first 10 row from sum column. So let's know that. You see, it's very, very easy to use data frame. So now, it is also possible to select multiple columns using loci function. So we can select multiple columns using loci function. So that means I can select from different columns. So like here now, I can select, let me check, I can select from temperature and from also temperature Celsius with this function. So let me run this and let's see how it works. Good, it worked very, very well. So another thing we can do, let's now do some thing that we have done before now. From the temperature Celsius that we calculated, I want to find the mean from a certain number of rows to another certain number of rows. Let me modify this. Let's say I want to find the mean from row 20 to row 29 from temperature Celsius. So this code now, let me see the result. So the result is 17.73333 and so on like that. So see, can do all this manipulation, all this analysis. So selecting a single row, can select a single row from the data. And let me change this to just a single row. Let me first select the first row. If I select the first row, you should see only the heading. And what is in the heading? You can see. If I select the 10th row, let me see what we have. See, can have that. So it's very simple to use. So you can print one attribute from the selected row. You can just print one attribute from the selected row. So like the temperature, like the maximum. Let me change it to maximum for the purpose of the teaching. Yeah. So you see, you can select one attribute from the selected row. Now, You can select a single value based on row and column using another function called at. So I can select selection at 0 row on temperature column. So if you run this, it should give us 64. What of if we want to select it from 10, row 10 of temperature column? Let's see what the answer will be. Oh, you know why? Say value error. It should be index because the range of that selection, remember where we define selection here, is just 0 to 5 row. So I can change this. Let me change it to 12 so that that will not give me error again. Let me run it. So I have it. Then let me run this. It will not give me that error again. See now, I now have 54 points. So that is how to do analysis with preliminary analysis with pandas. So extra selection with by integer position. You can do extra selection by integer position. So that is, what does this name mean? So integer position here means just go through the index from 0 to 5 and from 0 to 2. Now this one is talking about the row and this one is talking about the column. This is the first column here, which is the 0 to temperature, which is the next column. So here, if I want to change it and I want to see maximum also, I can change it to 3. So I can run this and let's see. You see, I can see maximum also. So it's very easy to use. If I like, I can change this to number of columns I still want, like 20. See, run it. You see, I have several of them now. So that is it. Just like working with list, but it's more clever than list. Now we can also access individual row using I local. So you can access individual row using I local. So let's check the last row of the data. Don't forget, when we are dealing with a list, I talk about negative index. So when you see -1, it means the last number of the list. So you can check that and it will give you. So that's just it. So we can filter. We can filter. We can filter. When we filter, we can have another data on its own. In fact, I can have, let me do something here. But to filter, I will just say data, take from temperature Celsius, any temperature Celsius that is greater than 15, filter it for me. So any temperature that is greater than 15 has true value. Every other one that is not greater than 15 has false value. This is a wonderful filtering because we'll be using it a lot in spatial analysis. So let's run this. Sorry. Let me run this. Okay. So come here. Oh, sorry, I'm running a wrong. Okay, let me run this, and you can see. What? Let me change the value to maybe the one that is greater than 20. Let me see the value greater than 20. You see that almost all of them false. Just only two that is greater than 20. So that is it. So we can now select row with temperature Celsius greater than 15 degrees. can do that, and it will select. So you see now, to select row with temperature greater than 15 degrees, you just use data.local, just specify that, okay, for this column, the one that is greater than 15 degrees, select it for me. So if I run this now, it will select the one greater than 15. What of the one greater than 20? I'm only expecting 2 rows, just as the one I run the other time. Good. See now, it's just only 2 rows. These are the analysis we can do. Because if what I run before, I only have true in row 25 and 2 true in row 2. So, and that's why the answer is 2 and 25. So you see how I do the analysis here. So what are the one lesser than 20? There will be many less than 20. Let's see. There will be as many as possible. So as you can see now, I have it as many as possible. Now, selecting rows with temperature Celsius greater than 15 degrees. From late June 20th. So I'm using low-key function. So as you can see, this is our expression inside this. Temperature greater than 15 and with the year greater than or equals to this. And it will make the selection for us. Just as you can see. Let's done it. Now we can another
Hello, Paula. It's like your network is bad. We can't hear you again. Hello, Bolara. It's like we can't hear him.
Yes, you can hear him. I can hardly hear him.
I think his network.
Yeah, I think his network is off.
Yeah, so okay, let's see if he will come in. If not, he will just continue from where he finished next week. Let's see if he will come up again.
Okay.
Just give him some minutes. Sorry for the
Yeah, that would be great.
interruption. Someone better. Emeka, maybe I will just tell. Okay, let's see. Let me call him.
Okay. Because I really like to get that his script, that Jupyter
video. I will send all
Jupyter script.
Yeah, and I will send the past two
the group
videos. I have outstanding 2 videos that I have not worked on, so I will work on.
I'm very interested in the file that the Python Jupyter script.
Okay, are you on the WhatsApp group?
Yes, I'm on the WhatsApp group.
Okay, he will put it there, and I have posted the first 2 videos, I think, on the YouTube.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So that will be.
If I can call him.
I should wait, or that will be.
This is the 5. No. Within no. He will put the note on the WhatsApp group, but let me call him to see if not, I'll just tell him to continue the lectures the training next week. So I will just combine the two. I think it's network. Let me see if I can get it.
Okay.
Just hold on. If not, it's late already.
It's late.
Yeah. Let me call him and see. I'll get back to you. Just a minute. Okay. I think he wants to call me. Okay, just okay. He is joining.
Okay. Okay.
If not, how it's be better to just finish it today.
Yeah, that would be great. I like. Well, that would be great.
Yeah. Polaro, how many minutes do we have left? Any idea? He has come, but let's just give him time to. Hello, Polaro.
I think he did not join with the audio. He did not join with the audio.
Yes, because I can't.
He did not join with audio.
Come, let me see. He's chatting. Let me. Yeah, because I can see he's not having. Well, you didn't join with the audio, Bolaro. Okay, it's like he called me.
Main based on.
Okay now. It's like the network is still bad.
Some.
Your network is still bad.
Yes.
Hello, Bolaro. Okay. Yeah, like how many minutes do we have more? Because we have less than 10 minutes now. Can you finish within 5 minutes? Hello, Bolaro. Oh. Network is one. Okay, let me see. Let me call him. Bolara, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I say we have less than 10 minutes. How soon can you finish?
Yeah, I will try and finish round it up.
Yeah, if you can round on in the next 5 minutes, because I think we have about.
I will.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Now another thing we can do is, if you notice, we are having some missing data, especially those one that doesn't have value inside. So we can deal with missing data from our data that we are inputting and remove it and restructure our data frame. And how do we do that? We can say drop nil. That's the function. Drop nil. That is, drop any data in this column that any column that doesn't have any data, or that have a nil data, that is no data there. We can drop it. We will reset our value again. So let me run this. See, now we have a very clean data set now. There's no one that without value that will not be showing new. So let's know that those are the things, wonderful things we can do with this data. So another thing is we can also play around with field name. We can fill those ones that has new data or so. Like as you see here, they fill this place with minus 999. So that's not to give our analysis an error. So we can also do data type conversion using as type. So let's know that. You see, there are many functions we can do. When you see, we can do sorting. So I will send this note immediately we end the class. You can sort your data. You can write the data to another file. You can write it to another file. And you can open it up like an Excel file like this, as you can see. So that is that on this processing data. So you process the data to remove error, those one that doesn't have anything inside of it, creating another thing, doing some basic processing like addition or subtraction, something like that. So we have Pandas has a lot of functions to do that. I don't know if there's any question. I will send this note immediately we are done. Any question?
I think it is an interesting topic, so I will try to just make the videos. I have backlog of 2, so I'll try to do them so that I'll put them up. But it is quite interesting. I don't know if any other person has a question.
Thank you for the lecture. I think this lecture was very rich. It was very, like, covers a lot of stuff. It's very rich. Please, I was telling Mr. Kusa before if we can get this Jupyter script, because
Yes, I will send it immediately. Then we can also go and register on notebook.gis. I can send this. I don't know whether you can see this.
Yes, I can see it. But sorry, please, with this Jupyter, this script, which also run on a Jupyter notebook that is installed on the system.
Yes,
not online like this.
Yes, it's wrong.
Okay.
It's not on it.
Okay.
I will still take another lecture that how to get all these things to install our local system. Now, the only thing is that I'm using Mac, so there may be a different configuration for Windows, but it's easy with all this Unix system. Do all this. But I will still talk about make a arrangement for that.
Probably great, sir.
So, but it's possible you use it on your local system. Very, very possible. Like, and let me show you. I don't know. Let me share one of my. One of my codes on Python. Like this now. This is a Python code. So you can run it on your system. Just create a virtual environment